From the BR Proud Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jesse Gunkel. Thanks for joining us this evening. Well, Sally now starting to push its way towards the northeast and weakening at this hour. However, we've already got another potential threat in the Gulf that could be a concern for us as we head in early next week. As you notice the big picture out there, Tropical Storm Sally right now has winds of 60 miles per hour. Heading northeast at 7. Again, still a very large cloud shield. It took a while for those clouds to even clear here today. Now we're finally starting to see some sunshine just before sunset, but we've got a lot of heavy rainfall moving into portions of Alabama, Florida, Georgia, and even the Carolinas as the system has picked up a little bit of forward speed now, moving northeast at 7 miles per hour. Tropical Storm Sally with winds sustained at 60, gusts to 70, heading northeast at 7, and you can see the pressure is rising, now sitting at 990. However, again, as you see by early morning, just after midnight, could be already down to tropical depression strength, and then eventually after that, even a remnant low or again, as we make our way into the Carolinas. And that's, again, good news, but still a rainmaker, and that is obviously one of the biggest issues that has been causing most of the concerns for portions of Alabama, Florida, Mississippi, and Georgia at this point. Now, again, because of the weakening structure in this system, no longer any more hurricane warnings across the area, but there is still a few tropical storm warnings out there, still some stronger wind gusts. A little bit further inland, you're looking at a wind advisory. Now, satellite and radar picture just showing you that some of those outside feeder bands still extend into the Gulf of Mexico. You got to cut the tail off before the rain eventually comes to an end. So those feeder bands still a concern for an isolated tornado or two. But notice again, much of that heavy rainfall moving towards Interstate 20 around the Atlanta area. So expect the conditions to start going downhill in that general vicinity. But elsewhere, again, it's a quieter picture as we continue to move forward. And we're going to be focusing on a cold front. That cold front will do beautiful things to the area as we enter the weekend. Your Doppler ready right now. It's nice and dry outside, but still keeping an eye on a couple rain bands just around Tallahassee, moving up into Albany, Georgia, and then eventually into Atlanta. But here's the futurecast. As we move into the next couple days, what I do want to point out, it should be a nice dry picture. Still a little bit warm tomorrow, upper 80s, near 90 throughout the afternoon. Feel like temperatures probably mid-90s out there. A little bit of a gentle breeze, nothing too much out there. But again, with that front on the way arriving by the weekend, that should help to cool us off, drop our humidity levels, and make it pretty pleasant. We're talking highs in the lower 80s, maybe overnight lows even dropping into the low to mid 60s out there. But we need to keep an eye on the tropics. Still very active out there. And as you see, we've got Teddy, a major hurricane, or expected to become one by Thursday. Once again, eyeing Bermuda, hopefully weakening by the time it arrives. Looks like it's going over Bermuda as a Category 2 storm. Post-tropical Paulette looks like it's going to continue to weaken out there, and we still have Tropical Storm Vicky, but we've got another area to watch now, and as you see here, the chance of development has dropped to about 60%, so again, that's a little bit different, a little bit less than earlier. Still could potentially be our next named storm out there. Notice we've got an area a little bit further north, only about a 10% chance of development. Still Paulette kind of floating around in the northern Atlantic. But this is the other area of concern. And as we're all probably thinking it, it's probably too soon, right? Again, we're just getting rid of Sally, and there could be another system on our doorstep. And the concerning part about this is you never want a slow-moving system in the Gulf this time of the year, because as you saw with Sally, you can see exactly what happens. Again, it rapidly intensified just before landfall. We quickly went from 11 o'clock hour yesterday, developing an eye. Winds jumped to 100 miles per hour, and then right before landfall, 105. Well, and then eventually moved inland. But you can see with this system, it's got a 70% chance of development. Here's what they're looking at. And a couple of models have started to pick up on this system. We're starting to see even a little bit of circulation out there, some thunderstorms kind of developing around the center of this system. I'm going to show you that right here. You can kind of see big picture that we've got a couple storms out there, and when you look at it a little bit on the closer end of the scale, you can see some of those storms kind of firing up around the center of this system, and that's Invest 90 over here. Main thing I do want to point out is when you look at, here's a closer look, and you'll see Invest 90. Again, winds about 30 heading north. It's still not moving. It's pretty stationary at this point, but you are starting to see a little bit of thunderstorm activity kind of right around where that center location most likely is at this point. So where does the system go from there? Well, that is Right now, the key, there continues to be a ton of uncertainty with this system. So don't get alarmed quite yet. This is an area we're just monitoring, but watch the track models right now, and you can see kind of floating a little bit further north. We're also keeping an eye on the American model, which is our GFS, and even the European kind of picking up on this system. But as you see, as the system drives towards the northern Gulf Coast, that front that arrives over the weekend really puts the brakes on this system, keeping all that rainfall out into the Gulf of Mexico, potentially even making it veer towards the west. Well, other scenarios kind of drive it a little bit further north, and you can see again Sally kind of leaving off towards the northeast and migrating, but there is that potential, even our in-house model showing some possible development out there. Now, time of arrival also very uncertain, because this could be a slow mover like the European model showing, and we may not even see this system approach our area until maybe the middle and end of next week. That's right, the middle and end of next week versus this upcoming weekend. So this model kind of speeding it up. We're probably talking time of arrival would be near our coast, maybe I would say Saturday, Sunday, maybe even Monday. Other models, again, kind of stretch it out towards the end of next week. And as you see here, just to kind of look at the QPF values, again, these are rain estimates, and notice they're picking up over the next 7 days the potential for some heavy rainfall in the Gulf. Notice us further inland, a drier forecast. It's because of that front. There's going to be a battle, a struggle between how strong is that front and how quickly that system, if it does develop, how quickly it moves northward at this point. So as you hear it there's a lot of ifs at this point. It's just something that we need to keep an eye on so we're not caught off guard as we move into the weekend. As you see here, we hit the peak, but there still is a lot of hurricane season left. And as you can see here, we've got Wilfred left in the English language, then we go to Alpha, Beta, Gamma, and Delta, Epsilon after that, Zeta, and Eta. So again, the key here is, again, stay vigilant, because, again, there are a lot of things that could happen as we move forward. Obviously, a lot of season left. And make sure you download our free app. It's Be Our Proud. You can, really has all the information that you need. We're going to continue to have more updates, obviously, as we get more information, because, again, with a new possible disturbance in the southern Gulf, that could affect our weekend plans. So stay tuned. We'll have more information this evening on our 9 o'clock news on Fox. Also tune in at 10 on NBC, and we're going to also have more coverage here on BeOurProud.com. Thanks for joining us.